wonderful.
Maria, is the slideshow showing up now?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm gonna minimize here, our stuff, so, I need to see if I can see the. Yeah. I needed to get people going in there. Yeah, I'm letting people in, so somebody's here 3 times. Oh my goodness, never seen that.
I think sometimes when they don't quite get logged in, they'll try again. So you'll see their name come up multiple times. Hey, Kay, how are you this morning? We have a lot of people that we know. We have a great group because we do have our online exercise classes. The Monday classes are sponsored by AARP if you came in through AARP, and we'll have more information on those later. But we'd love to have you join us for those classes as well.
Okay, so I'm still letting people in, and you can start anytime. I don't see an email from people.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start. So good morning. Again, we're presenting this fall prevention program because as we get older, most falls can actually be prevented, and you have the power to reduce your risk. And we want to thank very much for AARP New Mexico for supporting us in this effort, because as Maria mentioned to you, we've been working on fall prevention since 2016, and both she and I are certified by the Department of Health in New Mexico as master trainers for A Matter of Balance. And during that time, we learned a lot about falls that we did not know about. So what we're here is to share that information with you today and bring you some information where it's a starting point for you. We're going to give you a problem and then some solutions to it and have you think about it and share that information with each other. Just for our housekeeping, one of the things we want to do is make sure that our meetings are confidential. We are recording these, so just to let you know, we are recording those. The recordings will be up online later on, and if you will send us an email, we can send you the link to those videos so you can see them. But please don't share the Zoom link or the access codes with others. We would love to have them registered so we can know who they are and we can have them checked in correctly. The screen sharing for participants is disabled, and we're going to lock the meeting after a period of time just so that we're not going back and forth and doing housekeeping. Again, we'll record this meeting and it'll be available later on. One of the things is that we found as we've taught Matter of Balance is that there's not only falling, but there's also a fear of falling. And fear of falling can really drastically reduce your activity levels. So, and it's kind of a vicious cycle, and we'll talk about that later. But what we're going to look at during this seminar is that falling is a vicious cycle, like I just discussed. The myths about falling, some of them are really just wrong. And there are ways for you to think about that, because some of falling is a mental situation. We'll talk about the national and the local statistics. If you're not from New Mexico, they're still going to apply to you. And these are not meant to do anything but make you understand how important it is for you to pay attention to your situation and the situation around you and being very assertive and preventing falls, because falls are just devastating to older adults. What are the bad habits that increase your chance of falling? I mean, some of us just get into those. Balance problems and disorders. We can also have a situation where it's very easy to recognize and measure your risk level. We're going to talk about assertive communications, and that's a very interesting topic. And you at first may say, what does that have to do with it? And we will get into that issue later on. And then what to do if you do fall. So we also have one of the issues, you really can't prevent falls unless you exercise. That's just it. There's no magic bullet. There's no drug. There's no test you can take or any of those things, you need to exercise. So Maria will be talking a lot about that because she's our lead trainer and lead instructor with our exercise classes. And she'll talk about core strength, making the floor your friend. You've got to be able, if you fall, to be able to get up, ways to be active, the 4 types of physical activity, barriers, why don't you exercise? Then safety tips. What is mindset? Again, we're talking about our emotional and our where we are in our mind, in our world right now. And of course, we had so much isolation during COVID. We're just basically getting out of that now. We also will talk about other causes of falls, which you may not be aware of, that some are very simple to address and deal with. So medication, vision, hearing, and nutrition. And then I get my favorite one, which is home safety and gadgets for living. So Maria, that's for you.
Okay, I'm still letting people in. Okay, impact of falls and quality of life. Falls with or without injury can carry a heavy impact on your life. Older adults may fear falling and as a result, limit their activities in social engagements. We see this all the time. People fall, now they are thinking they're staying at home and not doing anything. It's gonna resolve the problem, okay, solve the problem. So fall is a vicious cycle. So what are we saying is of patients who are hospitalized for a fall-related injury, 35% will be readmitted for fall-related injury, and 5% will die within a month, depending what kind of fall you have. If you have really a bad fall that you hit your head and have concussion, that's a very, very bad situation to be in. So then if you look at the cycle here, if you look in the top here, you see the fear fall. So people fear fall and decrease their activity. They said, well, I'm not exercising, I'm not going to go dancing anymore because, I fall when I was dancing, whatever it was. So then you decrease the activity. Then what happened to that? Then you have reduction of your muscle, your strength, your balance, your gait, your flexibility. So all that is compromised when you don't have activities. Walking in a park or, doing your favorite things that you used to do. Then you decrease your functionability. If you look up on the other side, what happened again, then you have a chance of fall again. Your fall increases, your chance of fall increase. So like I said, 35%, it's a big number for people to master here. Okay, so Anne, move to the next one. Oh, okay. Well,
So,
statistic here. Okay, go ahead, Ann.
oh, did we miss one? No, there we go. Okay. So we talk about the myths of falling, that it won't happen to me. It happens to other people. Well, 1 in 4 older adults falls every year. So falls are in our makeup as we get older, but we're going to talk about ways to prevent that. And because falling is not something normal, you can prevent it as we get older.
Okay, so if I limit my activity, I won't fall. So that's a no-no. So some people believe that the best way to prevent falls is to stay at home and limit activity. Not true. Performing physical activity will actually help you to stay independent, as your strength and range of motion benefit from remaining active. Social activities are also good for overall health. And the next one, are you admitting people in? Okay. The next one is number 4, you just moved up in. As long as I stay home, I can avoid falling. So over half of the falls take place at home. So people fall at home all the time. Inspect your home for fall risks. Fix simple but serious hazards such as clutter, throw rugs, poor lighting. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Make simple home modifications, such as adding grab bars in the bathrooms, second handrail on stairs, not slippery paint on outdoor steps. So it's a lot of things that we're going to talk about. And we're going to also give you a list of improvements you can do at your home for prevent falls. Then I'm on number 5 too. Okay, number 5, muscle strength and flexibility can't be regained. That's not true either. Reality, while we do lose muscle as we age, exercise can partially restore strength and flexibility. It's never too late to start an exercise program if you are having been a couch potato. So your whole life, become active now will benefit you in many ways, including protection from falls. So if you haven't ever exercised, it's not too late to start. So I always encourage people to do that. Okay, the next one I think is yours.
So medication and vision, this is something that's we bring up because it is something that you can deal with, and especially when I look at ways to prevent falls, one of the first things they say is talk to your doctor. And that doesn't mean your doctor is going to prevent your falls, but they're going to help you understand what other subjects and what other topics and what other things you can do to prevent your falls. So one of the myths is taking medication doesn't increase my risk of falling. We'll talk more about that, but so many drugs do have side effects. And then as you age, there are situations where you're taking more drugs and there may be drug interactions. So you do need to speak with your doctor about your medication. And myth number 7, I don't need to get my vision checked every year. It is vision and hearing is really important. The statistics are that you're so much more likely to fall if you have poor vision. And vision, when we go back to it, also what Maria was talking about, adapting your home is having better lighting, having lighting when it's dark and being able to see where you're going. And that's a very important situation as well. So assistance devices, using a walker or cane will make me more dependent. Well, it makes you independent. I mean, if you're not comfortable, and then you see these people are walking on bricks, that can be uneven. Here in Santa Fe, it's not unusual to see people with hiking sticks. And I really encourage people to do that because honestly, you don't know if they just got off Atalaya Mountain or they just need something for stability. I have those in my car. I use them all the time if I feel I might be in a situation where it might be unsafe. But also if you are recovering from a fall or surgery or anything along those lines, hold on a second, I just missed it, that please use your walker, understand how to use your cane or your walker.
Okay, so important communication. I don't need to talk to family members or my healthcare provider if I am concerned about my risk of falling. I don't want to alarm them, and I don't want to keep I want to keep my independence. So that's a goal to me. So fall prevention is a team effort. So you got to bring up to your doctor, your family member, or anyone else who is in position to help. So they want to help you to maintain your mobility and reduce your risk of falls. You'd be amazed how many people are having issues and they are afraid to discuss because they think they're going to lose the independence. That's a big one here. Okay, Ann?
National statistics. Oh, these are hard. I do write grants for Villages of Santa Fe, specifically for exercise and fall prevention. So I'm looking at these statistics on a daily basis. So every 15 seconds, an older adult is treated in the emergency room for a fall, and every 29 minutes, an older adult dies from a fall. I should have updated this one because the financial toll for falls is actually expected to reach $101.1 billion by 2030. So the costs are astronomical, and those are hard costs. Those aren't the other costs of if you fall, you're out of commission, you're in bed, the recovery, what it takes for your family to help you with this, the emotional toll. So the financial toll is bad enough, but the other side of it is just devastating. And among older adults, falls are the leading cause of fractures, hospital admissions for trauma, and injury deaths. Falls are the most common cause of older adult traumatic brain injury, accounting for over 46% of fatal falls.
Somebody has a question here about age. So they consider older adults 65 and up. Okay, to answer your question, that's what these statistics are for, 65 and up. So this is a statistic of what I call an assessment done by Krista St. Vincent here in Santa Fe about an assessment of health needs for the older adults. So the number one indicator is fall prevention. So this is fall-related unintended injury deaths. That's a number one indicator. Number two was influenza immunizations. And number three, suicide deaths and among seniors. Those are the three things that came up on that assessment that they did.
And this was pre-COVID. So obviously COVID would rise to the top on this one, but it does tell you that falls are really more important or higher up as far as limiting your ability to live independently and also just not dying from falls. So that's very important. There we go.
Okay, falls commonly result in hospital admission and loss of independence for old adults. Falling is one of the highest risk incidents for adults over 65. Fall can result in a serious health consequence. This is under that Krista St. Vincent Community Health Needs Assessment. That's what came out of that one. Okay, so this is still an old 2020 report, falls in New Mexico. This is New Mexico alone, okay? The unintended fall-related injury deaths rate among adults 65 and older in 2018. They don't have a lot of statistics. I think with the COVID, things got behind schedule. We don't have new numbers yet, but this is what we had. 93.9 per 100,000 people in New Mexico as compared with 62.0 per 100 people in the United States. So New Mexico has the rate of 51.4 higher than the United States. So this is according to the New Mexico Department of Health. Okay, so here we're going to talk about habits that increase your chance of falling. So as we go along in our daily lives, we develop risk behaviors that increase our chances of falls. Follows these simple steps to identify and correct the problem. So we're going to talk about, I want you to write it down, your risk of fall, things that you're going to say yes to what I'm going to say here. Okay, so we have to look into things that we do all the time that we are not even aware of. Okay, so it's a huge list of them. Here, I'm just gonna list some of them. So you just say always or sometimes or never. So those are the answers that you're gonna write it down, put a little mark to it. So here is, the first one is, so after this, we're gonna stop and we're gonna ask people in the audience who has someone that they do always. So this is gonna be your top ones, that your highest risk, okay? So, and we're not moving yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Sorry about that.
Okay, now we're not moving yet. We're gonna do, so we have to go back into the last one.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay. Oh,
That
yes.
one.
Okay, right there. Yeah, we still. Let's take a break and talk about this fall risk, okay? We'll stop and then we'll take a break and take an assessment here. Okay, I take time out to exercise. I always do that, sometimes or never, okay? Put a little mark there because we're gonna ask you. I have a friend, relative, or neighbor who checks on me daily, in person or by phone. Yes, sometimes, never. I don't have anybody, so just mark it down. I take time when moving from one seat, from sitting to a standing position. It's a big one. So people sometimes have a tendency to rush. I take my time getting out of bed. Do I sit in the bed and kind of let our brain, kind of blood flows to the brain before you get out? So that's something we got to do. I pay close attention to whatever I'm doing. Sometimes I catch myself, even I'm teaching this all the time, just kind of walking around the house, doing things, not even paying attention what I'm doing. So be cautious with the task you're doing, what you're doing. I take it easy on days when I don't feel like myself. So you always do that, sometimes, never. Sometimes we force myself to do things that we don't need, we're not even feeling good that day. So take time is very important. I use an elevator instead of stairs if an elevator is available. Always, sometimes, never. I avoid walking on wet or slippery surface and take other paths if it's necessary. That's a big one too. That's a great one here. I turn on light when I enter a dark room. So we move from room to room, turn the lights on. When I leave a doctor's office, I understand instructions clearly about medication. So this is also is a great one because people sometimes don't understand what they need to do, and they start having issues with medication, especially medication. I know whatever or not the medicines I'm taking increase my risk of falls. So you remember we talked about that before? Do you know what you're taking is influencing, even supplements sometimes. We're going to talk about that later. So always, sometimes, never. I have a couple more here. I take my medicine as prescribed on the right day, the right time, and the right amount. So answer that question. I feel comfortable talking about falls with my family. I feel comfortable talking about falls with my doctor. I talk with my doctor about how drinking alcohol could increase the risk of fall. This is amazing. How many people, how many older adults, and I've seen this myself, they drink early in the morning and then they start having issues and have falls. I feel comfortable asking for help when I need. So those are the things. And can we just stop sharing, then we can ask people?
Sure. Can we stop sharing the?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can open up so we can see the people and we
Here we
can, yeah. So if you want to talk, I want you to share what you do like always, maybe a couple of things, one thing. Those are the more crucial ones. So raise your hand if you know how to raise your hand, the little hand you have here, or you unmute raise your hand like this, because I want to see your face if I can, okay? So everybody can see you, and then I can unmute you if you don't know how to unmute yourself. It's very important, guys. It's important to recognize what we're doing that's affecting our fall, it's our risk of fall. So don't be ashamed to share or have a question on that either. So it's your chance.
I said it so they can unmute themselves. So yeah.
You can unmute yourself one at a time. Don't be afraid to talk, because we're tired talking. So somebody got to talk. Okay.
One of the first questions my doctor asked me is, have you fallen in the last year? So, yeah.
Okay. So Joyce has a hands up. So can we unmute yourself, Joyce?
Yes, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, one of the things you just mentioned is about when I don't feel good. I'm a driver, so I keep going anyway until I say no. I'm just going to lay down, wrap up in my blanket for a couple of hours, and stay here. And that takes a lot of talking to myself. Even when I'm laying there, I got to do this. I need to get up and do that. I need to do this.
Okay.
And then the other thing is making certain I turn on lights. I come from a family where my dad said, if you're not in that room, turn off that light. So it's remembering those little things.
Yeah.
Being, as I'm I'm 79 age here. So these are some great tips. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Okay, then we're gonna mute, yeah, we're gonna mute, Nancy, can you unmute yourself? Let me see. Oh,
Yes, I was able to.
okay.
One thing when you mentioned about turning lights on when you go into rooms, I live in Florida and we have a lot of electrical storms, which our electricity goes off. So
Mhm.
my husband, we found a few of these little battery operated motion sensor lights that we keep on the floor. So if our electric would go out, we have them in the bathroom and a hallway and then we also keep flashlights in our night table drawers. So you could get out of bed and grab a flashlight really quickly to keep from taking a slip and fall.
That, I think it's fantastic. Those things are very important. Anne is gonna talk about gadgets at the end. She's the gadget lady, and she's gonna talk about those lights and give you some ideas. We even have other things that we can talk about, other ideas. How can you do that? So that's wonderful. Thank you, Nancy, for sharing. Okay, now we have Louis. Can you unmute yourself, Louis? Yeah, okay.
Yes, I was just gonna touch my space bar. That'll unmute me. But I get up and move too fast. Now I get out of bed slowly. But when I see something across the room that I want, whoops. And I think that's the biggest problem, but
Well, I think it's great to really pay attention to that. It's amazing. I had an issue not long ago with being, I'll just share with you really quick, with being, I think that I was not dehydrated. I drank too much water and I was depleted with my electrolytes. I woke up like at 4 a.m, needed to go to the bathroom, and I sit in a bed and I couldn't get up. I was so dizzy. I had to lay down and sit again and lay down and sit again until I got to the point that I had to call my husband to wake him up. And on the bed, I felt bad, but I had to wake him up to take me to the bathroom. I learned a lesson that day, because I felt like, do I have to go to the emergency room? Because I could not sit still. And the only thing I could figure it out was I was drinking so much water without any electrolytes that I depleted myself of the electrolytes, and I just couldn't function. So that's important, to sit and wait to see if it's okay for you to get up and wait that
Have a
time.
great rest of your day, and I will get the Zoom link, or not the Zoom link, the video out to you later. I do have
Okay, so Sharon, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you well. Can you mute yourself again and start all over? Sharon F. You're talking and you muted, Sharon. Sorry, we're not hearing you.
Oh, yes, hello.
Right.
The question about the elevator versus the stairs, I
Mhm.
do mostly take elevators. So I was wondering if there's any advice you could give me.
Well, elevators, it's safer, you know, if you feel comfortable, go up and down the stairs, you don't let your legs see. The things with going up and down the stairs, you use a lot of the power in your muscle besides the strength. When we lose that strength in the back in the muscle and also the power, it's very difficult to go up in the stairs. So if you don't feel comfortable go up in the stair, that you feel like you're gonna fall, if you have no place to hold going up, my advice is just take the elevator.
But isn't that making me less stronger in the long run? You know,
Oh,
how can I build up to it?
But you just exercise. That's the
Exercise?
Yeah, the only thing you can do, and we do a lot of classes on exercise. We do a lot of exercise to strengthen your legs and your muscles and your. That's the same, because I would rather you to get into an exercise program or walking, whatever you can do that you like to do.
Mhm.
You know, anything to strengthen your muscles, better than having going up in the stairs and feel comfortable.
Right.
If you're afraid, when we're afraid that something, it'll happen.
Right, but that's what I mean, like you were saying about the fear, it doesn't help in the long run.
No, but my advice, to
Yeah,
you, start
yeah,
your exercise program. Even if you
Right.
start, we're gonna talk about that, we're gonna start a little slow, don't have to be drastic, a little bit at a time.
Yep, I take your class on Mondays.
Okay, great, great, love it. Thank you. I have other classes that you can take, so
Great.
that will be increased that. Okay, Shannon, wonderful.
Thank you.
So much. And Sandra, can you unmute yourself? We have one more here.
Me.
Sandra has her
Okay,
hand.
bear
up. Good.
I don't know, I have an echo. I don't know, just, I'm trying to get as tech savvy as I can. I have a new computer and
Okay.
it has an echo, but I can still continue, I suppose. I fell last November down a whole flight of stairs in my sister's townhouse. Let's put up with the echo. I got up after I was in really bad pain. I called someone because I was by myself. It was early in the, I was staying at my sister's house at the time. Anyway, to make the long story short, I'm still healing since last November. I broke a bone on my right side on my leg. I'm not too good with anatomy, the name tibia or something like that. But anyway, I go to physical therapy when I can go, at least twice a week. I still get a little pain. They gave me something, I have to put it on, called a bone stimulator, which has certain type of currency and you wrap it around your leg and you wear it for 3 hours every day.
Yeah, we're familiar with that.
Doctor said it's healing, but slowly. I walk with a walker, you know, the rollator one, because that big walker they gave me, I kind of graduated to the other one, the smaller, with the seat, you could sit down, you're out somewhere. I never thought this would happen to me. I never broke a bone in my life, so up until now. And I thought maybe I had osteoporosis,
Uh-huh.
but I don't, luckily. I have osteopenia, which is very common, I guess, at get older, very big. So I'm just doing the best I can. Now, I have tile in my whole apartment here, and it's sort of shiny, but I wanted to bring out a couple of rugs, so it's better for me now because it's cushioning the floor and I have matting underneath so they don't slip.
Yeah, Sandra, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
have
just
another-
noticed that.
Yeah, that's okay. This
Sorry.
is for like
Alone.
habits that you have. That's okay. So we're gonna talk a bit again about falls. So you have a chance to talk a little bit more for the
Well,
sake.
I broken. That's okay.
Thank you for sharing, Dale. Appreciate it, but I'd like
Thank
to hear more towards the end. So how can we support you? Okay, we like to at the end to hear more. Okay, Ann, we're going forward.
All right, let me share again. Hold on a minute.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Very important information here for everybody. So we
Okay.
talked about bad habits, the next one.
You want the next slide? Maria, you want the next slide?
Yeah, balancing problems and disorders. Well, no, go back, Ann.
Yeah, I got too far. Hold on just a second. Here we go.
Okay, so do I have a problem with balance? So do you feel, the questions you gotta ask yourself is, do you feel unsteady? Do you feel like the room is spinning around and even for a brief periods of time? Do I lose my balance and fall? Do I feel like I am falling? Lightheaded, or I might faint, feel like I might faint? Does my vision become blurred? So move on, Ann. So those are the things that you gotta pay attention to it. I don't know why it's going to a different way, and go ahead.
No, here we go.
Okay.
All right, so one of the things that we talked about that may not seem evident is assertive communications, but it really is a situation of good communication between you, your family, and your doctors. And it's a core communication skill, and it'll help you express yourself effectively while respecting the rights and beliefs of others. When you go to the doctor, it's sometimes hard to remember all those questions you have. So things like assertive communications just means writing down your questions, having those questions, and then making sure not only do you get the answer, you get an answer from your doctor, but you also understand the answer. And if you didn't get the question answered in the way that you understand you should, you stop, and that's assertive, and just say, I really didn't understand. Do I really need to do this, or what is your suggestion? So it's just being responsible for your situation and being respectful of others, but also knowing that you are the most important person at that point. So one of the things we want to talk about with falling is traumatic brain injury, because so much of the time we think about falling and you're breaking a hip, and that is very common. That's very true. But the very worst part of falling is really traumatic brain injury. And traumatic brain injury usually results from a violent blow or a jolt to the head, or body, and your body hits and then your head will hit after that. Always see a doctor if you've received a blow to the head that causes behavioral changes. Seek medical care if there are any symptoms of traumatic brain injury. That would be, first of all, if you're unconscious. If you are unconscious, do not hesitate. Go to the emergency department. Just go. If you are slurring your words, if you are unsteady, it is very, very important, because the signs of traumatic brain injury are not evident. And you can easily either die or become permanently disabled from this.
Okay, so the question here, have you fallen in the last 12 months? Somebody just shared that they had a fall. Are you injured? Sometimes we don't, we have a very light fall. We're not going to injure, but sometimes it's very, did you ask for help or talk to your doctor? Sometimes people have a fall and they don't even talk to anybody about it. Don't go and check it out, unless they have breaking something. But sometimes if you hit your head, like Anne talks about, very important to talk to your doctor about it. Are you afraid of it will happen again? Those are the questions that, we always ask people. And the next one, Ann.
So importance of exercising, and in working with the grants I'm working with now, our really emphasis is that exercise. Maybe when you're younger, you're like, oh yeah, I really need to exercise. That's a really good option. I'm going to go after work today or whatever. But exercise as we get older is a life-saving decision, because exercise is truly the only way to prevent falls. And falls are what really prevent us from living independently. So I look at it and go, and it's cheap. All right, Maria has wonderful classes. We have wonderful classes. We have free classes that you can enjoy. We also have paid classes if you want to go up and experience, but we have classes so you can exercise every week. And that is truly the only way to prevent not only falls, but prevent more injury from falls. So the importance of exercise, again, understand the importance of exercise in preventing falls. We want to talk about the barriers. Why don't you exercise? Identify which exercises are best suited for fall prevention, and then how to create a daily exercise routine.
Okay, before we move forward, let me ask, respond to a question here. We have somebody asking, does being on a blood thinner make it more important to go to the ER after head injury, even if you don't have behavior changes? Absolutely. Even if you don't have a blood thinner, if you hit the head it's important to go to the ER and check it out, have an X-ray done. I had a fall last year with some things that was helping. I hit my head. I didn't have anything, but I went to the ER and I had an X-ray done. Very important. Okay, so we're going to talk about the exercise here. Joyce has a question as well about exercising and what's the best for fall prevention. Anything that any strength we do besides the cardio part, do anything with weights. I'm going to talk about a little bit more, Joyce, about that. And anything that strengthens your legs and your arms, especially in your legs and your arms, and also talk about ankles, you know, how important is flexibility in the ankle. So we'll address that question too. Okay, thank you for people putting stuff in the chat. Okay, so core strengths, very important is core strengths. We're going to talk about that now. A weak core can undermine the motions that are part of your everyday life. So all the exercise that I do, I talk about to people is hold your core, pay attention to your core. So the core supports your muscle, your spine, your whole spine. So important to have that. A lot of things that we do in everyday life, walking or pulling and bending, all that we use the core sometimes. So very important to have that taken care of. Very strong core. Okay, can you move on in? Endurance. So try to build up 30 minutes of activity that makes your breath hard in most days of the week. Walking, dancing, biking. So if you feel like you're just walking and you don't feel any different, your heart beat is not up a little bit. So make sure that you walk a little faster, or maybe you can walk with something in your hands to build that cardio vascular, you bring up your lungs. So doing walking, swimming, biking, dancing, if you don't, you know, I don't bike, but even dancing, I love to dance, as you know, if you know me. So those things are important. This is all part of the 4 pillars of the fall prevention. So endurance is the second one. Can you move on, Ann? Strength. Exercise build muscles. Even though as we age, we lose muscle, can be regained by exercise. So we talk about the losing muscle and losing power. So power in a muscle is when you, like for instance, you trip and you recover yourself. So you have the ability to recover. It's a different way of the power has the muscle. The muscle has the power and the strength. So we do squats, we do lunges, those are the things we do a lot. And then also doing leg lifts and different things that we do in an exercise class. So it's strengthening a muscle, empowering a muscle is very, very important. We as we age, it's part of life, guys. It's not other way around. We lose that part of it. But exercise help you to regain that and help you to stay healthy and being able to do things that we want to do.
You know, one of the things, Maria, and somebody just put this in the chat room, that it's difficult to exercise if we have bad feet, but we do a number of exercises, and Maria's mantra is modify, modify, modify. So we do a lot of exercises from a chair. So there are exercises that you can do that still build that core strength, that endurance and such from a chair.
Yeah, don't let it stop you. So balances. So I have a balance extra class, you know, the Monday class plus the other 2 classes that I teach, we talk about exercise. So you can even do that at home. Join a balance class, or you can stay in that, like for instance, when you're in the kitchen or you're in the bathroom brushing your teeth, you have a counter in front of you for holding. If you you lose your balance, just lift one leg up. See how can you do, you know, don't hold too much, just stay right there. And then if you needed to put your hands down, you can. So just trying to do those things at home or participate in our balance class. We have some, or any other balance class for the matter of fact. So very important to work on balance. That's another, you know, inflexibility. People that does yoga really, and this is the last pillar of the fall prevention, is the flexibility. For stretching stretch can improve flexibility. So if you don't want to join a yoga or a stretch class, we have a stretch class that's free on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. You can join that class. That's the stretch and the strength. We build a little bit of both. So you can even do at home, what this lady is doing right now. You can do that at home, okay, as well. So. Running.
So if we talk about barriers to exercise, because we all have them, it's like, oh, I just don't want to do it today. The good thing about it's very interesting because Maria was teaching in-person classes for AARP when COVID hit, and when everything got shut down, they asked us to convert these classes to online. And what we found is it's so great because it saves a lot of time. I mean, one of the things is I don't have any time. Well, with the online classes, you can zip in and zip out to our classes or another class. We also have our classes online as videos, so you can watch them. If you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and can't go back to sleep, you can always do a class. They're too boring. Most of the time, that's a situation where you're just not getting enough change in your exercise. So trying to keep it different and interesting, that's a challenge. Sometimes doing it by yourself, but in a group, we can keep it from being boring. Too expensive, not an issue. The classes, we have a number of free classes. Too tired. The good thing about exercise is there's exercise tired and there's just fatigue. And the greatest thing about that I found about exercise, because I think all of us with villages and who are involved in our exercise classes, is that it gives you more energy. Yes, you may be muscle tired the next day, but you feel good and you feel good about yourself. It does give you a boost of endorphins. So it really does help with the situation of being too tired. And again, as we say, build up to it. You don't want to get to the point you can't. When you start an exercise class, you're not going to start with weights. You're going to do things without weights. Then you can gradually increase your weights, but then you're increasing your muscle mass, which is, as Maria said, we can regenerate muscle.
Okay, so there is a question here about from Anne about having sore muscles afterwards. So sore muscles, it's okay to have, so unless it's hurting pretty bad, so you might have an injury or something, but it's just soreness, feel like you exercise, it's okay. So take a break the next day. So if you did strength training, working with weights and you feel your muscle sore, have that rest the next day. I don't say to people, just do it again next day. So just give it a break and give time to recuperate. So keep going. I wouldn't stop with that unless you had an injury or something that you need to see some kind of a specialist or something. Hoping not, but yeah, soreness, it's okay for me. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Julie. Julie's put something in here. Okay. Let's talk about some safety tips. Make sure that you exercise safely. Almost anyone at any age can do some type of physical activity. So also talk to your doctor about exercise program. I do exercise for a long time, and I always tell people, talk to your doctor first before you start an exercise program. Very, very important. Start slowly, especially if you haven't been active for a long time. Little by little, build up your activity. So, don't go in trying to, if you don't walk, don't start to walk like 3 or 4 miles. If you haven't walked in a long path, do a mile, then 2 miles, build up. Okay, take your time.
Oh, if you want to walk, I'll put this in the chat room later on. If you're in New Mexico or Santa Fe, the Vominos group have walks all the time. They're really casual walks and you'll meet some people. It's really fun.
Okay. Move in.
Safety trips, that's for you.
Don't hold your breath during a strength exercise. So breathe in and breathe out. Sometimes we tell people, inhale, exhale. So trying to follow that. Use safety equipment. Drink, if you go for a bike ride, use a helmet. If you go for a hike, just use your stickers, just for safety, depending where you're hiking. Drink plenty of fluids during physical activity. Dehydration can cause dizziness and leading to a fall. See, that's happened to me. So even I was not dehydrated, I had some other issues. So drink plenty of fluids. Right now, I'm trying to do 1 gallon a day because I have this goal that I want to achieve. So I'm trying to get usually water helps with, bowel movement, I help with your skin. Water is very, very important for the body. Another things that people talk about, I hear all the time is, let's assume you are about 150 pounds, divide by half, you drink 75 ounces of water a day, every day. So that's the rule of thumb for water. Okay, so people have different things about it. So now I have another guy that I'm working with, and he said, no, you got to drink a gallon. So I'm trying to do a gallon or 3 liters. So whatever you feel comfortable with, but drink plenty, that you feel like your body going to the bathroom normally, you have a normal bowel movement, and you also feel like your skin is not, you can feel it, that you're not depleted. Don't wait to be thirsty to drink water, because as we age, they say we don't feel thirsty as like we used to. So don't wait for that thing. Always bend forward from the hip, not from the waist. So always talked about people, now if you're going to pick up something, trying to go down instead of to bend over this way. So just those are the things, bend from the hip. Warm up your muscles before exercise. Usually I do, when I do my classes, I do a little music, 3-minute music. So kind of warm up the body. If you're doing it on your own, just walk on a treadmill if you're in the gym, or walk on the street first, whatever you need to do, just warm up the muscles. And try to walk, arm swing side to side step. So that's a new way of doing it. You just swing your arms, or you can do side steps. So kind of be creative when you do that.
Yeah, Maria, I love your monster steps during class.
The most step.
They're
Yeah.
great. I mean, because really one of the things where we have a tendency to start shuffling a bit, and Maria is all about picking up the feet and doing big monster steps. So it's really kind of fun to pay attention to what's going on with your steps. Oops, there we go. There we go.
Okay. What's mindset? Some people call it attitude, belief, demeanor, disposition, frame of mind, headset, mental state. So what it does that is related to fall prevention. So I think a lot of people that start exercise programs kind of give it up because it's too hard, things get in the way, I don't have time, I have to do this, I have to do that. So we start looking for excuse. So mindset is about find a place where you can really, find a reason why you're doing this. If you don't have a reason why you're doing, why you exercising, why you want to get healthy, why you prevent falls, you're gonna go away from your program because you don't have a reason. Find that reason, what it is for you. And one of these things I do every day that helps with my mindset, I get up in the morning, the first thing that I do is I do meditation. I take about maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes to do a meditation, very simple. And I talk about that all the time, how important it is to really let your mind just rest, pay attention to your breath, start the day like this, in a state that you can really have kind of don't let your day just consumes you, but you dictating how your day is going to be. Another thing that I do too that helps with my mindset is my gratitude journal. Write about things that you're grateful for in life, because sometimes we have a tendency of concentrate in things that is not doing well, that's not good, that's not going, especially our body. We're terrible. I think women, I don't know men, because I'm not in men's head, but are so bad about criticizing your body. I'm always tell people, do not tell your body how bad your body is. Don't complain about your body. Be grateful for all the other parts of your body that work well, your organs, everything that's going good in your life. So gratitude journal, it's another thing that helps with your mindset. Put you in a frame of mind that you find the happiness with you, and think about the goal, why you're doing this. What are you doing? You're doing for your grandchildren, so you're being able to be long enough to be able to be healthy, to be with your grandchildren, to your family, to whatever that is for you. So mindset is about that, is about helping you to be, when you're happy, when you're healthy, you're more alert, you're gonna pay attention to things that you do, places that you go, places that you walk. So that's what mindset is all about. In my book, anyway.
Oh, sorry, I went too far. So medications, this is one of the things that we bring out that you really do need to pay attention to, because as it says, no risk factor for falls is potentially preventable or reversible as medication use. 81% of adults use at least one prescription drug, 49% use at least one dietary supplement or vitamins, herbal, and 29% of older adults use at least 5 prescription medications concurrently. So with non-prescription drugs. So the issue is, for example, I'll say, hey, how many people in the room use statins? And then, you know, like everybody's raising their hand. Well, when you look at the side effects of statins, number 1 or number 2 or number 3 is always going to be dizziness or fainting. So you always, that's the kind of thing when you get a medication or your doctor increases or maybe changes your medication to another medication, be sure to ask them what the side effects are, or look at the sheet that says what the side effects are, and understand, for example, if they've increased your medication, your dosage, you could be fine with the earlier dosage, but then have side effects with the next dosage. Also with interactions between drugs. And that's where your pharmacist can really help a lot. And the problem is, obviously now our pharmacists are so busy, it's very hard to get their attention. But if you have those questions, just say, that's your assertive communication. My doctor prescribed this new drug, and you see, you have on your screen the drugs that I am taking. So are there potential interactions between these drugs? And I am also taking these supplements. I'm taking this and this and this. And it is vital to do this because, for example, my cousin's wife, they honestly thought she was dying, and she was taking Pepto-Bismol for her heartburn, and she was actually getting bismuth poisoning. And she was not telling that and not listing that as something she was taking. She just thought it wasn't important, but it's all important, especially, you know, we are taking the drugs, make sure there's no interaction, and make sure you list everything. And that's one of the critical things when you go, for example, if you do go to the emergency room, it's hard at that point to remember what you're taking. So what I actually do, I just line up whatever I'm taking. I take a picture of it. So if I go to my doctor, or if some reason I have to go to the emergency room, I can pull up that picture and show my doctor exactly what medications and what the dosage is. Very important. Get regular vision and hearing exams. Wow, this one's both the hearing and the visual. You're so much more likely to fall if you have visual trouble or deficit or hearing loss. And I think one of the easiest ways, when we were teaching Manner of Balance in person, and people would say, well, how important is vision? And we would be doing our little walk where we're putting one foot in front of the other. And I would say to them, okay, hold on to the table. Let's walk one foot in front of the other. Now, close your eyes and try to do that. And it's just unbelievable how difficult then it is without that visual input. So be sure to get regular vision checks and also get your hearing test as well. Maria's hydration.
Okay, before we move forward, let me talk about a little bit about that will you just talk about, Ann. So balance is a combination of 3 systems: vision, proprioception, and vestibular. So vision, and just talking about people with that has blurry vision, if you have cataracts, macular degeneration, stroke, poor lighting, all that, changes of light. This is all part of your vision, okay? So then we have the proprioception. So people with neuropathy, lumbar spine injuries, resulting from altered sensation of our lower legs, surgeries on ankles or knee, So those are the parts of the proprioception. Proprioception is the ability of your brain to communicate with your muscle that you want to move. So if you have an injury or something that I just mentioned, neuropathy, so those are affecting your balance. Also vestibular is your people with vertigo, a vestibular dysfunction, like people that had stroke before. So those are the things that we have to think about. Those 3 items, they all work together. If you have anything that is it's not in balance, it can affect your could affect your balance. Any of those three symptoms, combination of systems, we call them systems. Okay. Okay, so before I move to the next one, we talk about hydration, 8 glasses. I don't know, this is kind of old for me now. Somebody just asked me about hydration. Yeah, electrolytes is great. I drink it with electrolytes now. You can buy them at Whole Foods or any health food store, any tablets or little liquids that you can put in your hydration, or you can buy water if you can afford, that comes with electrolytes. That helps me a lot, because I was drinking plenty of just plain water. Once in a while I'll put electrolytes in, but so make sure that your electrolytes don't have sugar. Sometimes they come with sugar, maybe 1 gram of sugar. So I'm trying to stay, not eat a lot of sugar. So be aware of that. But yes, electrolytes is very important.
But I want to point out that if you're drinking the sugar-free electrolytes, it's probably going to be worse for you because of the sugar-free additive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just add one that doesn't have any. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Whole
Read the
Foods.
label.
Yeah. People just, if you like flavors, they have some with flavors. Yeah, like I said before, the 8 glasses, I don't know. People say now, bring your weight in half, whatever their weight is in half, just your ounces. Okay. So trying to do every day. The powder vitality, yeah, that's somebody just put something in the chat. That's a good one to have. Mix them up, just have tea. I like herbal tea, so no caffeine. I like tea, so I make lots of tea, different kinds of tea that's good for different things. So, jasmine tea, or sometimes I have apple tea. So just make sure that you mix them up. Making a hydration all day event. The way I do now, I get 1 gallon of water put in my kitchen counter. And then everybody that I stop by that, and then I divide in 3 parts. So it's like, I think in liters, because I'm Brazilian, so in my mind it's liters. So 3 liters. So in the morning, when I get up, the first thing I do, I eat 1 tall glass of water. That's about 500 ml, so half of a liter. I drink that before I drink tea or coffee or anything. And then by noon, I drink another one. So I'm trying to do like a liter in the morning, a liter in the afternoon, and late evening, I drink between the middle afternoon until 5 or 6 o'clock, I drink the rest. Because if you drink too late, then you're gonna go pee all night. So just be cautious of that. So Gatorade has a lot of sugar, right?
Yeah, a lot of sugar.
Yeah, just put some more water in there, just kind of water down. That's a good idea, Ann. But I don't drink Gatorade because it's too sugary for me and I don't like the taste. But if you like it, just make sure you put some water in. So I think tea is the best thing, find out how many ounces of tea you're gonna drink, 10 ounces, 12 ounces, bake a big cup. And tea is easy to drink. And then it has some flavors in. No sugar
Yeah.
in it.
In
Okay.
the summer, I make a big pitcher of raspberry iced tea, and it's flavored great. I get some mint from the garden and some fresh lemon, and it's great. It's very refreshing. There's no caffeine and no calories, and it does mix up because sometimes you just get tired of water. I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
home safety, again, 60% of falls happen in the home. So let's talk about making your home safer. Clear up the clutter, light it up, hold the rails, cut the skids, toss the throw rugs, and move it where you use it. So AARP has a downloadable checklist, which we will give you the URL for, so you can download that. Almost every, any site has those. They're great. But, clear the clutter. I mean, that's going to be, don't leave papers, newspapers on the floor. You can slip on those. The shoes, everything. Actually, the clutters also include the dogs and the cats, because I think people fall over their animals as much as anything. We talked about light it up in a little bit. I'm going to talk about the motion detector lights and other things that are available. Hold the rails, putting in very sturdy rails, and also using those rails, and not, if you're going up and down the stairs, don't have both hands totally caught up, well, holding the basket. If you have to go up and down the stairs twice, hey, it's good exercise. It gives you a little more steps, but hold the rails as you go up and down. Cut the skids. So again, the rugs that are slippery. I just had a tile, my bath shower retiled on the bottom, and it's a little slippery. So I put in a nice sturdy mat that adheres to the bottom of those tiles, to the tiles right now. So I'm not going to slip on that. Toss the throw rugs. If they're just family heirlooms, hang them on the wall. Throw them over the back of the sofa so you can enjoy them, but you're not going to slip on them. Move it where you use it. So if you're in the kitchen and you've got an appliance that you're using all the time, but you're having to stretch or get up on a stool to get to it, move it to where you use it. Move things within this area and the knees, right above your head and the knees. And that is going to help you a lot and keep you from having to step up onto a stepping stool or get down on the floor to pick something up.
And somebody's asking about cut skids. Can you?
Oh, sure. All the rugs have, you can get rug pads. So two things, you can get rug pads, you can get also double-sided tape. So it depends on how big the rug is. Now, one of the things I don't like, because I have Saltillo tiles, is I don't like those rubber pads, because they actually will stick to the Saltillo tile, and when you pull them up, they're very difficult to clean off the floor. You can go onto Amazon, and there's a place that does felt pads for your rugs, and you can have them cut to size. So that'll keep you from skidding. I think that's really important. Also, hey, Maria, right? Flip-flops. You cut the skids. Don't wear the flip-flops.
Yeah, the strategy, and that list from AARP, are we gonna make that available for people? Do we
Yeah,
see-
I'll get that. I'll put that in the chat later on.
Okay. So the strategy is to reduce, well, we talk about habits that we had, right?
Yeah.
Before, and then, well, strategies to reduce fall. We talked about, one of these things, well, for some reason, I got lost in the process here. Okay. Okay, I'm
Sorry about that.
Okay, so one of these things we talk about it is to pay attention, things like the risk factors that in that list of Ann just gave it to you guys. The rugs, and then those are the things. How do you reduce those risks? One of the things is flip-flops. People wear home flip-flops, and I've seen, I had clients before that had a fall, that tripped on the flip-flop. So get rid of the flip-flop. What do you wear at home? Not even those house shoes that's open back. And my recommendation is to wear, I use tennis shoes all day long. No, closed-toe shoe, doesn't have to be tennis shoes. So closed-toe shoes. Socks, also socks on the slip floors that somebody said, that's not a danger one. So just wear a shoe that it closes, closed toe and closed back. Let's put this way. That's comfortable, easy to walk with. So you be safer that way. Another thing is that people do all the time. Another thing that we talked about is you go to the grocery store, and then you come home and you get out of your garage, and you decided that you're going to get your purse on one side and 2-3 different bags on the other side, and then you're trying to get into your back door. Okay, no, you one hand always free. Going upstairs, go downstairs, getting groceries out of the car, make sure that your hands are free. One hand is free, okay? Or can get out. Even if you hold one bag with two hands, make sure you can have the other hand for something else. So very, very important. I've seen people fall in garages and unloading the grocery. So that's another one that people do all the time. Also phone cords that people might have between lamps and the couch, you know, that's staying there, or lamps that has long cords, lamps that has long cords that's laying around, or now we don't use phone cords that much anymore, right? We have cell phones, so we don't use those. But those are the things that comes up to mind now about people that people have shared. Also dogs, go for a walk with the dog, be careful with dogs, especially if you have two dogs and you're trying to manage dogs in two different leashes, they can wrap in your legs. So make sure that you use one that is not too long, that dog, they just don't have a lot of room to be walking on. Yeah. Josh just said something, I'll read that later. So this is things that I had last session. We had a lady that was walking her dog by a lake, and the dog got around her, got over her legs, and she fell in the lake. Then later another time she fell again. She fell front, broke her teeth. So it's very important. Pay attention to your dogs and your dog leashes. Another one is to be concerned when you, like I said, we talk about, garden rows. That's another one. Long garden roses, or roses that, you know, that's laid around in your backyard and you can trip on them. Also, paper stacks around the house. You know, sometimes people like to collect a magazine or papers and put around their couches, and the side of their couch they can trip over. Anything that clutter. Kind of get rid of clutter. Clutter can bring, it's a very, very difficult things with falls. People fall all over clutters. Okay, so I think we had enough here on that one end, unless somebody come up with another one that I don't remember.
There are always plenty. Every time I look around the house, I go, oh, I really need to take care of that. But you were talking about hoses, and I left my hose out this morning because I was in a hurry. Not a good idea, because it's right as I walk outside the door. I'm sure I'll just go, I'm going to go out there as soon as this is over and roll it up. So let's talk about your gadgets. And somebody brought this up early. I am a firm believer in motion detector lights. So if you see this image over on the left-hand side, in my garage, I have a step up from my garage into the house, one step up. And I have this light that's in the lower right-hand side that as soon as I get close to that step, that light comes on. So even if the garage light is not on because, the garage light comes on, but it's not very strong, I can see where I'm going. And then right before the door, I have another really bright light there. And both of those lights, if you'll look on the left-hand side, that light at the top is really very bright. It's, I think both of those sets and the set of 3 are like $20. So the set of 3 lights and the batteries last about a year. So you're not constantly replacing the batteries over and over again. I also use these on my stairs because I don't want to turn if I'm going, if it's the middle of the night, I don't want to be turning on the overhead light. But as I go up the stairs, these lights come on. As I go down the stairs, they come on. I also have these in my bathroom because getting up in the middle of the night is just part of life these days. But I can go into the bathroom and the light comes on, so I can see what's going on. They're really inexpensive, and they are really, I at this point, I just honestly couldn't live without them. The next one over is this bed light, which is very interesting. It's a long strip and it has little LED lights on it. You can adhere it to the bottom of your bed. And it has then a motion detector that it plugs in. It's not battery operated. And you can put that motion detector wherever you like. Since I have a dog, I don't want it on the floor. I actually put it on the side of my nightstand. So I can actually get up and then swipe the side of my nightstand, and that light will come on underneath my bed. So I don't have to turn on an overhead light at that point. There's also there's a dimmer switch on it, so you can have it brighter or less. There's a timer switch, so you can have it more or less time. You could also use these anywhere, in a closet, up and down your stairs, any place that you feel like you need to go into, and it might be dark and you might just be reluctant to turn on the lights. It really does help a lot. Then these Trek poles, that's what I was talking about. So if you I have them in my car. There are places that we stop to go walk the dog. It might be some rock, it might be very rocky, it might be icy. We get a lot of snow here, and during the icy seasons, I always have those, and I'm always using those. I think it's really important to just use devices that are going to help you, that are not intrusive. The other thing, let me go back up just a second here. That's okay. I'll just talk about it. There are also other things that you can use during icy seasons, because I know people are from all over here. I have things called yak tracks, which are they slip over the bottom of your shoe, and they prevent you from slipping on ice. And actually in the wintertime, I just take an old pair of boots and I put them on those boots and use them by the front door. So if I go out to go take the garbage out or pick up the mail or anything like that, they're right there and I can slip them on, and it really, really can prevent a fall on ice, which is very, very important. One of the things that I really had gotten into, Maria has one, I have one, is the Apple Watch. It really is, to me, Apple has gotten into very much the healthcare realm of devices, not just a watch. And so if you want to look for it later on this summer, I'll have a program on 15 things your smartphone can do, but it also includes your watch. So the Apple Watch actually has a fall detection component. It also has an emergency call component. So that one of the things I hear all the time is, I live by myself. Should I get one of these fall detection devices? And I go, yes, but are you going to wear it? I was with a friend whose husband has Parkinson's, and he had recently gone out into the garden and fallen while she was gone. And he was stuck there for 45 minutes. Now, he's fortunate his wife came home and found him and was able to get him up. But if he'd lived alone, he'd been in a totally different situation. And the thing is, I wear my watch 24/7. I wear it in the shower. I wear it exercising. I wear it all the time. And if I fall, it will actually send out an emergency call. And it'll also alert anybody who is on my emergency contact list. It has a GPS locator because it's connected to my phone, so that the first responders can find me. I think that's really super important. It also has a function on it where you can push both sides of it and make an emergency call itself. So I would encourage you to look into these. Unfortunately, the Android watches don't have this kind of feature. So it really is limited to the Apple Watch, but it's a good idea. I also encourage people to always have your cell phone with you. I had a friend that was out, she lives on a very steep road here in Santa Fe, and she was out getting her mail and she slipped and fell underneath her car. And she fortunately had her phone and she was able to make an emergency call. So I think those are both very, very important things for keeping us in a situation where we can be connected in case of a serious emergency.
And just to clarify, Anne does not have interest in stock on the Apple Watch.
Nope. I get no financial compensation for this at all whatsoever.
And Joyce is asking where she can find the gadgets. All those things that Anne talked about, they are on Amazon. They are very inexpensive to incorporating. Yeah, they have sensor lights on Amazon. Yeah, you can do that. Also, the email that Ann is gonna send out is gonna give you that information as well.
Yeah, if
Um,
you attended this class, we'll send you out an email because it's rather than having to copy links and all of that kind of, we'll just put it all in the email so you can click on it and find them. And again, like Maria said, all of this is available on Amazon.
And so, and after you finish up here, this is our last one, right? Our last.
Right, it's our last slide.
I want to do an exercise here with everybody before we end, okay?
Okay.
After you stop with the slides.
Yeah, so for me, this is such an important issue is what to do if you fall. And stay calm, be assertive. And it goes back to that assertive communication because I was at the Santa Fe River the other day and somebody was walking across the rocks with another person and they fell and everybody rushed over to pick her up immediately. And I said, wait, let's just see how she is. Don't just jerk somebody up. And the same thing, if you fall, just stop. Take time to assess the situation. Even if you're on the street, just take a minute, take a breath, say, am I hurt? Check your body for pain or injuries. Did you hit your head? Did you lose consciousness? Be sure to have somebody call 911 if you can't do it. Go to the emergency department, get an MRI because a TBI can kill you. If you feel able, try to get up. If you're hurt or unable to get up, call for help or have somebody else call for help. If you're in the street, we encourage you just to scoot over, get off the street, get on to the curb. If you've fallen at home, just go ahead and call 911. The first responders are lovely. They're wonderful people. It is not a burden. This is not something that they're going to be critical of. They want you to be safe. So be sure to be assertive and take care of yourself.
Yep. Yeah, somebody just said something about the flip-flop. Yeah, absolutely. Just retire those flip-flops. I have retired mine long time ago. Okay, so Ann, can you just, oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. All of this will be in the email that we'll send to you. We do offer 3 free classes a week. Mondays are sponsored by AARP online. Our Wednesday class is also free at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we actually have an in-person class in Santa Fe on Saturday morning. So you can look, we will send this all out. You can check out the schedule. You can sign up for these classes. The AARP classes, in general, most of the time you can sign up for on their site, but they're having a few issues with everything getting up on the site. So if you want to be sure to sign up for the Monday classes, you might want to go to our site where you can sign up for them as well.
Okay.
All right, Maria, it's yours.
Okay, just stop sharing so we
Yep.
can. Yeah, okay, so if you participate in my class before, I done this in a class, so I'm gonna move the camera here. I'm gonna do an exercise with you very quickly. It's not gonna take long. And you're gonna count, this is just to give you an idea how how it's called the 30-second chair stand, okay? See how strong your legs are. So then at the end of the class, at the end of the exercise, I want you to write it down, your number that you're gonna, and I'm gonna give you instruction on that. Then I'm gonna read by age, men and women, where you are. This is just for you to know your starting point, then you wanna improve from that number, okay? So let me change my camera here so you can see me more to my other camera. Right here. Okay. So first of all, I want to make sure your chair does not have a wheel that you're not going to move. Okay, that's safe. So I don't want to, be in a chair that rolls over. So it's just something steady like mine. And what you're going to do here, I'm going to time you for 30 seconds and you're going to cross your arm and you're going to stand up. Count 1, stand down, up. 2. So count how many times you stand. When I said stop, you stop, keep that number, remember that number, and I will tell you where you're gonna be here in this table, okay? This is for your score. It's just an average for you to know where you are. So this exercise, do at home, it will improve your ability to sit and to stand, okay? I want you to be 105 and then sit in your commode. Still, that's my goal. That's my goal too, for me, okay? So here we are. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you when to start. Cross your arms. If you cannot, if you need to help with put your hands to the side, just do that, okay? Said no problem, but the whole idea is to do this. Okay, here we are, ready? Hope everybody's sitting. Start. Stop. Okay? Okay, good. Okay. So we stopped 30 seconds on the dot. And then I'm gonna change my camera again. So you see my face instead of my whole body. Okay. So here's the number. This is the minimum that you should be doing, okay? I don't want you to do below. If you did below, you know you have some work to do, okay? If whatever that number is, the whole idea is for you to improve that number. So if you are the age of 60 to 64, men at least 14, no less than 14, women no less than 12. Age of 65 to 69, men not less than 12, women no less than 11. 70 to 74, no less than 12 for men, women 10. 75 to 79, 11 for men, 10 for women. 80 to 84, 10 for men, 9 for women. 85 to 89, 8 for men, 8 for women. 90 to 94, 7 for men, 4 for women, okay? So this is your numbers. So the whole idea is do this at home. Find a chair that's like, maybe not too high, not too low, that you can do this. Not too shabby, 12, that's great, Joyce. So, and I had a client, and when I start with her, she was 80, when I did this. She was like below her number. I think she was at 8. And now she does up to 15 lifting weights at the same time, and she's 84 right now. So I tell you, so persistence, commitment, mindset, it takes you great places. Feel better, you haven't, and also don't forget to keep that goal. You know, I mean, I want to do this to see my granddaughter graduates. I want to see my granddaughter or my grandson's wedding, whatever that is for you. So keep that going. You know, you can live a long time and healthy and happy. That's what I want. 11 for a 69, great, that's good. Yeah, for women, yeah. So see if you can improve that number because you're right in that number. So the whole idea is to be above that number, okay? The higher you are in that number, your chances of reducing your falls, have stronger legs. 11 for a 77.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, everybody. And you'll be getting an email shortly. And I'll also give you the information on how to access the videos. And thanks a lot for coming.
Okay, so Nancy has a question. Any suggestion for improving your leg strength? Exercise, like I said, do squats, lunges, you know, weight with weight. So work with weight. It does not just the arms, but also helps your legs. So squats, that's the one. And just walking, power walk with weight, just power walk, not just walk leisurely, but power walk. Okay. And also if you do not get an email, because some people, we might don't have their email address because the ARP list, we don't have their emails, email us, can you put the email down here?
Oh, right, because this is not on our system. I'm sorry.
Yeah, some of you are not in our system, so emailed us and we can send it the link to you because we cannot send it to anybody that is on air.
Correct, right. yeah.
They communicate with us.
So, yeah, so Maria's saying, so here it is, it's info@villagesofsanta